Hi, I'm Becky Joy. I'm here in my studio and I wanted to talk about warm and cool palette and a little bit about mixing the colors, how to get more vibrant or grayer colors with a limited palette. I've got here Cad Yellow Light, Cad Yellow Medium, or Deep here. Sometimes I'll use Deep, sometimes Medium, either one of them there. And Cad Red Light, Alizarin, Cerulean, and Ultramarine Blue. Now each of these colors has a warm, cool property to them, and none of them are an absolute pure color. Your Cad Yellow Light, or even a lemon yellow, is a little on the cool side, having a little bit of blue in it. Your Cad Yellow Medium or Deep has a little bit of red in it. Neither of them being absolutely pure yellows. This is a little more yellow, got a little more red. It's got a little more red in it in the Deep than the Medium. Let me grab a little bit of Medium so you can see. I do have both of these. I usually had the Medium on my palette, but once in a while I will grab the Deep. There's not as much difference between these. You know, these are greater. But anyway, the Cad Red Light has a little bit of yellow in it, and the Alizarin a little bit of blue. So this is a warm red, this is a cool red. The two blues are Cerulean and Ultramarine. Cerulean has a little bit of yellow in it. Ultramarine has a little bit of red in it. Now, to mix, getting your secondary colors, getting a purple, obviously we use our blue and red that we learned as kids. Now, if I mix, to get my brightest purple that I can get with these colors, I will use only red and blue. Now this has a little bit of yellow in it, this has a little bit of yellow. Once I introduce a third color in there, it starts to gray the colors. So to get my brightest one, I'll use Alizarin and Ultramarine. And let me just mix these on here so you can see this. And here's your Ultramarine. Now I'm going to just take a little bit of white just so you can see the color a little bit more. There's your purple. Now I will still get purple if I mix some of these other colors. Okay, I'm going to take the Alizarin again, put it on this side, right over here, and I'll take, instead of the Ultramarine, I'm going to use some Cerulean with it. Now that Cerulean's got a little bit of yellow in it, so that purple will become a little bit grayer in color. Now, take a little bit of white here so you can see this. And it's just a little bit grayer than that one. And it's a little difficult to see here on the camera. And of course the more blue I add to it, the cooler it's going to be. If I put more red, the warmer it's going to be. Now, I'm going to take a Cad Red and the Ultramarine, Cad Red and Ultramarine. Now, again, I've got some yellow in this one, so it's going to be a little bit of a grayed purple. And this probably has a little more yellow in it than the Cerulean, and that's a little bit more of a gray color than that one. And brands will vary, you know, you gotta know your brands. But now, if I take the Cad Red and the Cerulean, each of those have some yellow in it. So theoretically, I should land up with, now let me get a little more cerulean there. I've got, it's pretty warm in color. I should have a grayer color than any of those because it has more yellow in it. So I've progressively gotten towards a grayer purple as I've moved down here because I've added more of a third color. Now, if I want to get an orange, and I want my brightest orange would be red and yellow. So I'm just going to take some white and run it down here. So I've got this on here. Yeah, let's kind of speed that up a bit. Actually, you probably don't need that with the yellow. We'll need it with blue. Okay. Alright, for the warmest ones, I'm going to add my deep Cad Red, or Cad Yellow, and then I'm going to take some Cad Red Light, mixing those two together. You know, to varying degrees, I'll have an orange color. Now, that would be as bright as I can get with those colors. You know, I can add more orange, I can add more red, you know, I can change the property that way. Now, let me take a little more of this Cad Yellow Deep and a little bit of alizarin. Now, the alizarin has a little bit of yellow or blue in it. It's not going to be as vibrant of a color. I do use this color mixture in my paintings, but I'm not going to get as bright an orange. You know, it's a little more of a burnt color. And let me take my Cad Yellow Light, or sometimes a lemon yellow, be even a little bit cooler. I often have that, I just don't have any on hand right now. And then I'm going to grab my Cad Red. There's not quite as much difference in the yellow. Oops, there's looks like a little bit of alizarin I got picked up here. Let me grab a little more here. And not quite as pure, although pretty close. And then, to get my grayest one, I'm going to grab a little bit of alizarin and the lemon, and mix those two together. And that should be the grayest one I get. The least bright. It's just moving right on down. So, and you can tell there's quite a bit of difference between this and this. And, you know, it's all, brands change things, you know, they look a little bit different with each brand. Slight differences in color, you know, slight differences in the brands. And so you kind of have to get to know what you have, and you may want to change something, have something a little cooler. It might work for you more often. Now, for my greens, I want to use a the cool yellow and my cerulean. Each of these, my yellow has a little blue, my blue has a little yellow. So it's only two colors that I'm mixing there. And I can get my brightest green, mixing those colors together. Okay. Now I'll take that same, got a little bit of another color mix there. Yeah. My cad yellow light and my ultramarine. I'm going to mix those two together. And it's going to be a little bit grayed green. I get a little more yellow in there so you see it a little more. I'm just not going to get it quite as bright as this other one, because the ultramarine has a little bit of red in it. Now I'm going to take my cad yellow medium and my cerulean, and this yellow has a little bit of red in it, so it's not going to be quite as bright again. A little bit grayer. It's getting a little more olive in color here. A little more yellow in there. See the difference between there and there. Now my grayest green would be using ultramarine, which has some red in it, and my cad yellow medium. And if I went to my deep, I would even get more of a red, more of an olive color in there. But it's just a little bit grayer in color, each one of those that I mix up. You know, if I wanted to have it even a little more of an olive color, getting more red in there, I might use the cad yellow deep. See, and that's got appreciably more red in it. So, you know, any time that you want to gray one of these colors, it's gray in a secondary color, is to put the tertiary color in it, or the third primary in there. So your greens, which are blue and yellow, if I put any red in it, then it's going to gray it. My purples are yellow and blue, or red and blue, and anytime I put yellow in it, it's going to gray it. My orange is yellow and red, and anytime I put blue, that's going to gray it. So with that in mind, then I can take it a little bit farther and actually add some blue in this, and it'll become even grayer. My purple, if I want to add a little bit of yellow in that, it becomes even grayer. Oops, a little bit of green there. And the same with my green. I take a little bit of red and add to that. You know, until you go to the other end of the spectrum, and then, you know, you're a red with a little bit of green in it. You know, you can keep going this way. But I can theoretically take any of my colors left over from the day and look at them. Do I want to use that? or do I want to gray it? I might grab a purple, have gray that green, and have a nice warm gray there. Now, let's see, I want to get that a little bluer, add a little ultramarine to it. And of course your values, you know, with adding a little bit of white. Now that's got a blue cast to it. I might take a little bit of cad yellow light, add to it. I've got some dried paint there. And I've got another color of green. And you know, I can just take any of the colors. Once you learn this concept where you are looking at what is in the colors that you have on your palette, and really learn that, and any time that you add 3 colors together, you're going to get some kind of gray. And it just varies, you know, to degrees, how much there is in there. And, you know, a lot of times you want a gray. I'll mix cerulean and cad red together. A lot of times when I do want a gray, I can get a nice gray there. That's still a little bit warm. And maybe I could take a little bit of yellow, a gray yellow. Yeah, but it's, anyway, it's learning this basic concept will help you in mixing colors and matching colors. It's just, it's constantly comparing. Is something grayer, cooler, lighter, redder, greener? You know, it's constant comparison and looking at what you have and figuring out what properties are in that. If I add such and such color to it, is it going to gray it? Is it going to make it more vibrant? What's it going to do to what I have? So anyway, I thought this would be an important lesson to help you understand mixing the colors on your palette. And you can do virtually anything you want with a basic palette if you know your colors. And I would always recommend a person start out with basic colors. Don't start adding colors until you understand what you're doing with them. And then, you know, for convenience sake, add some other colors. And sometimes it's near impossible to get something quite as vibrant as something out of a tube, and there are occasions where you'd want a more vibrant color. I can get a more vibrant purple or pink out of a tube, and there's times where I may want that. Greens, I found, are usually it's more a convenience thing if I have tubes that I'm using of green rather than mixing them. Usually the cad orange is more vibrant than what I can mix. Although that's a pretty vibrant orange there. So anyway, that concludes today's lesson.